70 years after the murder of 6 million Jews, Iran's rulers promised to destroy my country, murder my people. And the response from this body, the response from nearly every one of the governments represented here, has been absolutely nothing.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu with a powerful message yesterday at the UN addressing the General Assembly. It is worth noting that at that particular juncture in the speech, the Prime Minister paused and seemingly stared down every nation in that room for 45 seconds, expressing his disgust for the world body's approval of the Iran deal with no regard for Israel. A day earlier, Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas spoke in front of that same group, saying Israel has violated previous pacts both sides agreed to observe. Abbas now says Palestine will no longer keep to the agreements, including the Oslo Accord. That accord, of course, setting the framework for peace in the region. Yesterday, Miranda Kahn and I spoke with Rabbi Abraham Cooper, the Associate Dean of the Simon Wiesenthal Center, and talked more about what all this means for the future of Israel. And should the words of Abbas be taken as an act of war?
Not really. This is an act of desperation by someone who's been unable to get back into the international headlines because of all the other things happening in the Arab and Muslim world. He's someone who's sort of screaming, you better come in and save the situation before I jump off. Most people here responded to that threat with a big yawn. Prime Minister Netanyahu is certainly going to challenge him to come right back to the table, sit down and try to hammer out what the Oslo Accords is all about, a two-state solution. But Abbas today, or Abu Mazen, whatever you want to call him, is someone who's lost the Palestinian street. He's in the 11th year of his 4-year term. The man, I think, just turned 80 years old. What should have been a great day for the Palestinian movement with the symbolic flag going up at the UN, instead, he turned poisonous by throwing the book at the Israelis, the apartheid, the colonial occupiers, genociders. That's not how you prepare your neighbor to sit down and make peace. So I think that most Israelis, and believe it or not, a large percentage of Palestinians are waiting for some new leadership to come forward and to do the right thing. There is an attempt to try to incite something on the ground where maybe another intifada can start. But the truth is that on the ground, there's not a lot of stomach for it. People look around the region, and, you know, JD, the Palestinians are not running to Germany right now. They're not pushing down the borders in Hungary. No one's leaving here. They prefer not to have their lives intertwined with the Israelis, but given a choice between their current situation and what's going on in Syria, going on in Libya, in the other countries, the Palestinians know that they should be making a much stronger effort to come up with something that will get their quote-unquote independence and also allow them to live in peace with their Jewish neighbors.
The Palestinian flag was raised for the first time at the UN. Does this demonstrate in any way that the UN has somehow abandoned Israel?
No, I think what it does, it shows it's one of the problems, actually one of the blockages towards peace, meaning that a lot of Palestinian leaders, including Abbas, now believe that they can have a guaranteed path to a full-fledged state without any of the heavy lifting, without actually committing to the Oslo Accord. And so all these symbolic moves that don't in themselves really measure up to anything, psychologically indicate to Abu Mazen that if he just continues to say no, that the world's just going to come and give him whatever it is he wants on a platter.
Pardon the interruption, but here's my concern with 30 seconds left, Rabbi. The United Nations has proved inherently hostile to Israel. Is that why we can expect Prime Minister Netanyahu to say to the Palestinians, no, let's negotiate face to face? I challenge you to pick that up. Again, 30 seconds remain.
There is no question that the Prime Minister will be challenging at the UN and every other opportunity for the PA, whoever's going to be running it, to sit down and knock out an accord. People pretty much know what that accord's going to be, but if there's going to be peace, people make peace. A piece of paper is not going to do it for any Israeli leader, left or right, or for the people of Israel.
Our thanks to Rabbi Abraham Cooper. Now, if you'd like to weigh in on what he had to say, here's the way you can do it. Send your comments to newsmaxtv.com/comments. Coming up, Morton Kondracki on his new biography of the late, great Jack Kemp. That's straight ahead. Stay with us.